I am Professor A, and I like my girls insane. Welcome to TLP. Joining me is the doyen of doggos, the diamond dog, the birthday girl, Professor Dogger. Professor Dogger is 4. Professor Dogger. Also joining me from the other side of the world is Professor J. Professor J, how is the other side of the world, and what is today's chord?
Today it is very hot this side of the world, and today's chord is one that you probably recognize from the beginning of the song Venus, popularized by Bananarama. But originally,
Yes.
do you know who it was by?
I used to, but I've forgotten, sorry.
I believe it's Shocking Blue.
Something like that, yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
And today it's a B7 suspended 4.
Very funky.
Oh, super chord, really good. I love it.
Excellent.
4th.
Good
There we go.
chord. Good chord. Right, today we're starting a new multi-parter on a specific artist. Number of parts to be determined quite possibly by the weather, which is hot on both sides of the world. We will start with a couple of songs at least today, and the subject is Lizzie Grant, or Lana Del Rey as she calls herself. Also known as Sparkle Rope Jump Queen for some reason, but there you go. So what do you know about...
How much do you know about LDR?
Well, I know she was born as Elizabeth Woolridge Grant. She's of Scottish descent.
In what year?
37 years ago. Sorry, I don't know. 85, is that? Something like that?
Yes, correct.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't done so much of the background. I've concentrated more on the music. But yes, her music is referred to by reviewers as Hollywood sadcore, which is an interesting turn of phrase. Although one of her albums is referred to as desert rock. And surprisingly, I haven't picked any songs from that album, but it's a very guitar-y one, which is quite unexpected. She came to fame in 2012, I think, with her self-made video called Video Games, which became a viral hit, and has since had multiple number one albums on both sides of the channel. Actually, I think more in the UK than the US, which is surprising. Has recently released another album to critical acclaim, and is or is not appearing as the headliner of the other stage at Glastonbury in a couple of weeks. I know she's cancelled the rest of her tour because she says she can't sing anymore, but appears to still be appearing at Glastonbury. But apparently singing doesn't matter. So
yeah, she's won all the awards. She's won 2 Brit Awards, 2 Billboard Women in Music, MTV Europe Music Awards, Satellite Award.
Ivan Novello.
I'm going to come on to him in a minute. 6 Grammy Awards, nominated for 6 Grammy Awards, Golden Globe. Rolling Stone placed her in their list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. Rolling Stone UK named her the greatest American songwriter of the 21st century. And
excuse me. Professor Dogger has left the room, and probably the building.
And then Time magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2012.
which is strange, because at that point she'd had one album which was withdrawn from sale immediately and one hit single.
Yeah.
And regrettably, I'm going to have to pause at this moment. I'm going to fetch Professor Dogger because she's causing a nuisance to the neighbourhood. Be right back. Okay, diplomatic incident averted. We return. Carry on, Professor J.
So, should we dive into her background, or should we save that little joy for later?
Yes, it's an interesting background. Yeah, why not? Why not?
So, I mean, the thing that really struck a chord with, came into my attention quickly, was that she was sent to a sort of disciplined school at the age of 14 to break her addiction to alcohol.
Yes.
Which is impressive. Is that the right word?
Yeah. Get your breakdowns out of the way early. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you know about her parents, her dad especially?
Not so much.
He released an album last week.
Oh, really?
His first album, yes, which includes collaborations with Lana. It's called, I don't remember what it's called, but the single off it is called Lost at Sea. He's 69 years old and coming out with an album. So there's hope for us yet. I don't know. I haven't listened to it. No.
Yeah. So there's this whole thing about her being preoccupied with death from a young age, and her having this sort of, I don't know, some sort of crisis, should we say? But then the thing that's really visible in the stuff about her is her sort of reinvention. So as you mentioned, she started under her sort of birth name as Lizzie Grant, and then she was Lizzie Grant and the Phenomena, Sparkle Jump, Robe Queen, as you said, and a couple of others. Yes. And then she was singing in bars in New York while she was at university, and she did manage to get a record deal.
Yes.
And she released an album, and it died. And then she kind of reinvented herself and came back as a completely different person. And people seem to have lost their S about this.
Yes. Yeah, I mean the name. She's basically told two stories about picking the name. Originally, she said it was referencing Lana Turner, the Hollywood actress from I think the 40s, and the Del Rey motor car. And since she's told Q magazine it's not the case, saying I don't even know what movies Lana Turner has been in. It's just because it's beautiful, and Del Rey the same thing. So who knows? She does seem to say different things about the same subject at different times, put it that way, charitably. Like at one point she was claiming on stage that she couldn't play one of her songs because Radiohead was suing her because it sounded too much like Creep. And Radiohead's management released a press release saying, no, we're not. And then suddenly she announced, oh, they've dropped it. I can play the song again. So who knows? On the first album she released as Lana Del Rey, she spelt Ray with an A. That was the one which was withdrawn from sale very, very quickly, and only one song from it has ever been re-released in a different version. So I'm guessing it wasn't very good, but who knows? It could have been record label politics. We discussed that a lot in our last episode on the Sisters of Mercy, of course. That could have been something like that as well. But yeah, so she changed from Ray with an A to Ray with an E, so who knows? Very strange.
Very strange. So let's crack on with the first song. So you have chosen what, Professor A?
I didn't really want to choose a song because it's not one of my favourites. I like the music, the lyrics I'm not so into. But because it was the breakthrough viral hit, I have chosen Video Games, which appeared on her second album, Born to Die. But everyone thinks it's the first album because the first one was withdrawn from sale.
Yes.
So first major label album.
Yeah. So this is 2011, first released. And then so this was kind of released via the back door, right? She made the video to it, if I've understood correctly.
That's right.
And it kind of became like a viral hit, I would say, via the video rather than the song itself.
Yes, it features vintage footage interspersed with shots of her singing on her webcam, so not even in a studio or anything. It's very much a homemade deal. It became a viral internet sensation.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into some lyrics. I'm going to start. Swinging in the backyard, pull up in your fast car, whistling my name, open up a beer, and you say, get over here and play a video game.
Apparently, this is autobiographical, as most of her songs seem to be to some extent. And it's about two relationships she had with men stroke boys. I think this was early sort of teens kind of thing, who were obsessed with World of Warcraft, is the game in question, apparently. But
Right.
wasn't mentioned because she'd probably be sued. So it's about, basically the whole song is about her feeling that she's paying a lot of attention to her boyfriend in this relationship, and he's very much into his video game instead. Although it does seem that she's also seen that she plays it with him, it seems to me, in the song.
Yeah.
Live, I've noticed that she does say, sort of much more sarcastically, "I'll go play your video games," while she sings it as if she's not involved in it. But from the original song, I think she probably was. So. Yeah, and that's just basically it. Obviously, they're old enough to be drinking beer, so she was probably at least 12 from her history. I don't know. It should be 21, of course, in America, which is right and proper, because it's ridiculous that you could drink as well as dying for your country at 16 or whatever. There I go, American bashing again. Yeah, that's basically it. The fast car bit, people have posited online, could be a reference to the song by Tracy Chapman.
Oh, really?
Fast Car, yeah. That song being about a woman with an alcoholic father falling in love with a man. The two lovers run away together, and then history repeats itself, and the man she ran away with becomes an alcoholic, and she's in the same situation another was, and it's history repeating itself. And people have said this is probably a reference to that. I don't know when that came out, but certainly a long time before that. It was 80s, was it? I think.
Yeah, it would have been mid-80s.
Yeah. Good song. If people haven't, look it up.
Cracking song. Really good. Okay, more lyrics. I'm in his favourite sundress, watching me get undressed. Take that body downtown. I say you're the bestest. Lean in for a big kiss. Put his favourite perfume on. Go play a video game.
Yes, that'll do.
Pause there.
A lot of her songs have recurring references to. There are a lot of recurring themes. Summer seems to be the most prevalent, I think. Everything's about summer and whether things are hot or cold. And sundress, obviously, denoting summer. She mentions sundresses in a lot of her songs. Obviously, they're the kind of thing which was very fashionable in the 40s and 50s, which is where a lot of her style influences have come from. Hence the Hollywood sadcore thing. Take that body downtown, she mentions in quite a few songs, and it means getting it on, as they would say, as the youth would say, or something. I say you the bestest. Possibly just done for meter, but also in another song we're going to cover either in this episode or the next one, depending on how hot it gets. She uses the word bestest, which really kind of suggests a bit of sarcasm in that one. So what I expect to be in this one as well. I'm not sure. Again, she's saying she's doing everything to please him. She's wearing his favourite dress. She's putting his favourite perfume on, and he's off to play his video game, or they are. So.
Yeah.
Yes. She stated in interviews that the lyric is about the sweetness of the little things in a relationship with a former boyfriend. That's what she says it's about.
Do you find it sweet?
This song? I think the music's great. I really do. I'm not sure about the lyrics. And I believe she got a lot of criticism.
I don't find it in any way sweet. I find it quite disturbing. Honestly.
Well, you don't like video games. We know this. So
no, it's just, for me, it's just one-way traffic. So,
yes.
The relationship is just one-way traffic, her trying to please him.
Yes.
And to describe it as the sweet things in a relationship, I'm quite surprised by that.
Yeah, she was actually quite roundly criticised for this song, the lyrics, by feminists who say it's anti-feminist. And this song hasn't been the only one that's been levelled at.
Yeah.
But that's the way she feels. It's the way she feels, I guess.
Absolutely is. Let's see how she's feeling for the rest of it. It's you, it's all for you, everything I do. I tell you all the time, heaven is a place on earth with you. Tell me all the things you want to do. I hear that you like the bad girls. Honey, is that true?
Yeah, as you say, it's it is one-way traffic. I think also there could be references to a couple of other songs here. Hold on, my second monitor's died on me. Wait a minute. It's back. No panic. Heaven is a Place on Earth, of course, is a song by Belinda Carlisle.
It is.
What was she in? She was in a famous band in the 70s and 80s. Go-Betweens? No, not that. No. Can't remember. Anyway, she had a solo career in the 80s and 90s, and Heaven's a Place on Earth was a massive hit. But also, I think it could be a reference to two songs by the same artist.
Go-Go's.
Go-Go's, that's it, yeah. I was close with the Go-Betweens, wasn't I? I got it half right. Heaven and Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams.
Indeed.
I thought, which was number one for a Bryan Adams-y long time, as someone once said. That's 13 weeks it was number one in the UK, I think, which was far too long.
Is that from a Robin Hood movie?
It was.
That one?
The one with Kevin Costner, which is about 97 Robin Hood movies ago, I think. That one. They seem to make one every couple of months. You heard about Nottingham?
Yeah, nothing else interesting happens in Nottingham.
No,
right?
no.
Robin Hood.
Goodness.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
No.
Okay. Where are we?
But she's also suggesting obviously suggesting that she's a bad girl. By that, I heard you like the bad girls. True, but she doesn't sound like.
I don't think she is. I don't think she.
Yeah. Well.
I think that she's pretending to be a bad girl because, as she says, I heard that you like the bad girls. Honey, is that true? I think this is just her putting on an act to please a guy that she shouldn't be with.
Fair enough.
And that's why he's playing video games and he's not interested in her.
Yes, probably. Oh, well, there you go.
There we go. Anyway, it's better than I ever even knew. They say that the world was built for two. Only worth living if somebody's loving you. Baby, now you do.
Yes. World built for two, presumably a Garden of Eden reference. I should think. Only worth living if somebody is loving you. Well, is that true? I don't know. I've been single for nearly 20 years now, I guess. No. 16. I don't know. I've got Professor Dogger. I don't care. Whatever. So, I don't think it doesn't really make sense, does it? Only worth living if somebody is loving you. And baby, now you do. No, but he doesn't.
No, clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Right. Who knows? It was an early song, let's face it. She was 17 when it came out. So. 17? No, 27.
Yeah.
No, I can't count. 27, yeah.
She wasn't 17.
No.
So she must have been 27.
Count. Yes.
Yeah. In her 20s. Okay, let's more lyrics. Singing in the old bars, swinging with the old stars, living for the fame, kissing in the blue dark, playing pool and wild darts, video games.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't actually know what wild darts is, but it sounds like great fun. You just sort of hunt people with darts or something.
There are various games you can play with darts.
Oh, right. Okay.
Not like that. You know, like forfeits if you lose, or just
right.
Killer and games like that. Of course.
Yes.
Well, I read it out. What's this?
Yeah.
What's the blue dark?
Night time, I think. Specifically, people have said in comments on various sites that I'm not going to credit because. Anyway, a lot of people have said it's the sort of filter used in nighttime shots in 40s movies,
Yeah.
where everything's a blue tinge to it. So nighttime. Singing in the old bars, swinging with the old stars. I mean, that's basically what she was doing for singing jazz and blues in clubs before she reinvented herself. Living for the fame. Well, that's what being a pop singer is, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Video games, yes.
Yep. Okay, a couple of more lines. He holds me in his big arms, drunk, and I am seeing stars. This is all I think of, watching all our friends fall in and out of old pools. This is my idea of fun, playing video games.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of it's you, everything I do. I tell you all the time, heaven's a place on earth, and I don't think there's anything new for the rest of the. Oh
no,
it's just lots of now you do, now you do.
Old Pools is a reference to St. Vincent de Paul Church, which is a landmark in Los Angeles. Presumably she was living around there at this time. In another song from the album called Off to the Races, she mentioned she's staying at the Chateau Marmont, which is a hotel which has been a hotspot for Hollywood stars and starlets since the 20s. And that's close to this church, Old Pools. So.
Okay.
So people have suggested that means friends falling in and out of old pools as they're getting married and divorced. And she's just sticking with this guy playing his video games.
Right.
Which is quite possible.
Right.
It does. The last verse sounds like he's reciprocating a bit.
Yeah.
In his big girls, and she's happy with the relationship. Which is, it's a pop song. You can't expect too much. As I said, it's not Love Me Do or whatever. It's.
No, you're right. But I just find it depressing. It's very sad, and you've got this sort of grainy video, and for me, she's singing about a relationship that's doomed to fail.
Yes.
I find it. Anyway, as you mentioned, it won an Ivor Novello for the best contemporary song in 2012. Who was Ivor Novello?
I actually don't know, I'm afraid. That's some top quality research for you, that.
So these are awards for songwriting and composing. They have been presented annually in London by the Ivors Academy, previously called the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers and Authors. Since, care to guess the date?
1765.
Yes, Anna. 1956.
Right.
So I'd heard of them, but I never really understood what they were. So
no. I know that people are impressed by them. So,
yeah, they recognise creative excellence in contemporary songwriting and composition. Do you know who Mr. Novello was?
No, I don't.
So he was just some guy who wrote he wrote for like musicals mainly in the 20s and 30s. I struggle to understand why these are named after him. And I've not been able to understand why they're called the Ivor Novello Awards.
No, especially if they weren't originally and were changed to that.
Yeah.
Within their lifespan. Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah. Well, he died quite young. He died at the age of 58. So he died in 51.
5 years before they started. That's strange. Very strange.
Yeah.
That was a nice quick one, wasn't it?
I mean, the video's good. I mean, if she shot it herself, she's done some amazing editing, because it's, like it looks to me faux home shot rather than real home shot. Yeah.
A lot of her videos like that were sort of archive footage spliced together with people appearing in it. I know she's made some short films as well, one of which we'll be discussing. We've referred to it as a video, because she refers to it as a short film. So.
With the release date and everything.
Yes.
All right. Well,
let's go. Move on?
Let's go. Yes, let's go for Born to Die.
Yeah, this is the title track of her first major label album, which is called Born to Die, strangely. And it features a striking video again, although this one is not homemade, but it includes her with a couple of tigers, which is always fun. And do you want a definition of the quote? A quote which defines what the title is about. It's too hot.
Yes, please.
Yes, there you go. Then. She said to Chelsea Hodgson from the New York Times, in her melancholy world, to love is to live, so to love the wrong person is to be born to die. So it's about loving the wrong person.
To love is to live. So to love the wrong person is
That's what she said.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. So it features apocalyptic lyrics and strings similar to John Barry compositions. Who's John Barry,
Right.
Professor A?
I believe he's the person who did the backing music for Bond films.
Yes, indeed. Which may or may not be a future series.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I like this one. I like this one, but again, it's a similar style. It's kind of for me, it's mournful, melancholic, tragic. I like the music, but I find them depressing.
Well, hence the sadcore thing, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Melancholy is kind of a trademark. It features a famous sample at the start. Do we know about the famous sample?
I do not know about the famous sample.
The bit where someone says why, and then someone says got that, and someone says who, me, then louder, why, got that. It's from a live performance by the band Mountain at Woodstock. The song's called Long Red. And it's been sampled apparently as of 2017 in over 600 songs. So quite a lot more now, I should think.
By the band Mountain?
Yes, they're a bluesy band, I think. I could be wrong. I think they're sort of blues rock.
Oh, I don't know them. Oh.
Well, we'll have to look them up.
Yeah, I will do. All right. Okay, let's dive into some words. There's a lot of them.
Yes.
Well, should we skip past the why got that?
We've done that.
Yes. Okay. Feet don't fail me now. Take me to the finish line. Oh, my heart, it breaks every step that I take. But I'm hoping at the gates they'll tell me that you're mine.
Yes. Feet don't fail me now was a character used, a phrase used by some characters in a show starring two black actors called Stephen Fetchit, I'm sure that was his real name, and Manton Moreland, who in early Hollywood cinema played exaggerated stereotypes of black men. Very racist stuff, basically. And their catchphrase was "Feet don't fail me now."
I mean, it's a phrase that's in common parlance, although I never understood where it was from.
Yeah, and also there was a band, probably contemporaneous with Mountain, I should think, called Little Feat, F-E-A-T, and one of their albums was called F-E-A-T, Don't Fail Me Now. Sure. Take Me to the Finish Line was a continuation of the first thing. And also probably a reference to the song we mentioned that's on the same album, Off to the Races, Take Me to the Finish Line. It's probably coincidence, but it's always nice to be self-referential within songs. I think it's quite fun.
Yeah.
Hoping at the gates, they'll tell me, presumably the gates is the gates of heaven, as they're born to die. And she's hoping that she'll be with this bloke in paradise, which was the title of the next album.
Okay.
But yes, I have thought.
So, next lyrics. Walking through the city streets, is it by mistake or design? I feel so alone on a Friday night. Can you make it feel like home if I tell you you're mine? It's like I told you, honey, louder. Don't make me sad, don't make me cry. Sometimes love is not enough and the road gets tough. I don't know why.
Yes. I think that's all fairly straightforward, isn't it? The only thing I would
Yeah,
say
it
is
is.
the Friday night, obviously, which is standard parlance of people going out after a working week, standard working week, which pretty much no one does these days, I don't think, is a direct contrast with Friday night in the fourth song on this list. But we'll get to that later.
Okay.
The louder, you said, was again part of the sample from Mountain.
Yes.
Sometimes love is not enough and the road gets tough. I don't know why. This is the sort of pre-chorus link in, which is said many, many times. Don't make me sad, don't make me cry, but she does seem pretty sad. So.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about road and a long way to go, which is, you see a lot in the video, right?
Yeah, and also sort of driving along lonely roads is something that appears in a lot of her songs. It's a recurring theme, as are cars in general, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. So let's crack on. Keep making me laugh. Let's go get high. The road is long, we carry on. Try to have fun in the meantime. Come and take a walk on the wild side. Let me kiss you hard in the pouring rain. You like your girls insane. Louder, all right.
Yeah. Another recurring theme is getting high. She mentions in a lot of her songs. One of her big hits was called High by the Beach, which is not particularly subtle.
I mean, it's interesting because, you know, she had this she was sent away to kick this alcohol addiction at the age of 14 to 16. And then there's questions been asked about if she is still sober or whatever.
Yeah, her lyrics don't seem to agree on that. A lot of them are about drinking, and then there's at least two songs where she says something like, I can't drink that cherry wine you're selling, but cherry coke would be fine, or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's no videos of her drinking. There's no mention of her. She seems to control her media extremely well, but there's no pictures of her drinking or.
She certainly used to smoke a lot on live performances, and now vapes a lot in live performances.
Okay.
Don't know about anything else, to be honest.
Okay.
None of our business,
so again,
frankly.
No, exactly. So there's more references to other songs. So the road is long. Long, long road.
It's also He Ain't Heavy. Or the thing is, He Ain't Heavy.
Thingy Brothers.
Yeah, the Thingy Brothers. No, then,
yeah.
Everly Brothers, was it? Yeah.
I don't think so. Some brothers.
No, right. Righteous Brothers.
And then that'll do. And then Come and Take a Walk on the Wild Side, of course, was it Lou Reed or was it the Velvet Underground? But one of those. Yeah. And then Kiss You Hard in the Pouring Rain. I'm sure that's maybe Dancing Naked in the Rain. That's
yes, that was a Blue Pearl or something.
Yeah. And then what's this bit about you like your girls insane?
Well, this is another one of her recurring themes. She likes to suggest that she's insane. We know from your intro that she did have a fascination with death and suffered from depression.
Yeah,
probably still does.
I don't see it like that. I see it because it's never really her saying that she's insane. It's saying that you like girls to be insane. You like girls to be bad.
There's a counterpoint to that. In the next track, which we referred to before, Off to the Races, she sings the line, I'm crazy, baby. I need you to come here and save me. So,
yeah.
She does refer to herself as that many times. But yeah, this is, you like your girls insane is very much like you like the bad girls, honey, from the last one. So, I think she's like basically saying she can play any role.
Yeah, I think so. Life is but a stage.
Indeed.
So she changes some of these lyrics live.
She used to. A couple of days ago, I watched a live performance from the Mitre Festival in Brazil 2 weeks ago, and she sang "Kiss You in the Pouring Rain." So
Okay,
perhaps
maybe
she's
that's
mellowed.
why it's why it's allowed, because what I've read is ruder than the
Yes,
actual.
exactly.
So maybe
Oh,
that's why.
this is something we should have pointed out. Obviously, this is a family podcast, and we do not swear on it. If we do, we'll try to register it out if we make a mistake. There are quite a lot of F words in Lana's canon. She does like a swear, I have to say, but I won't mind someone who likes to swear. All these people that say that people who swear have a much smaller vocabulary, they don't. They have a much larger vocabulary, and that's from someone who studied English to degree level. So off. But yes, we won't be mentioning the swear words, but she does like a swear and probably likes them live more than on record. So yeah.
She's a bad girl. All right, some more lyrics. Choose your last words. This is the last time, because you and I, we were born to die. Lost, but now I am found. I can see that once I was blind. I was so confused as a little child. Tried to take what I could get, scared that I couldn't find. All the answers I need. Louder.
Louder. Yeah, and this sounds very much like a reference to Amazing Grace, the Christian
yes.
hymn, which was published in 1779 by English poet and clergyman John Newton.
Oh.
He's quite interesting. Just reading this straight out of Wikipedia, this is not my own research. He had no faith in God for much of his life and was a Navy seaman before becoming involved in the slave trade. In fact, he was renowned for being a profane character and was well loved for writing crude and mocking poems about his captains and other sailors. And then, after surviving a vicious storm, he got some God and wrote Amazing Grace.
So yeah. So he does say, I once was blind, but now I see. So that's his bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, it comes back to this sort of fascination of all this thing that she has about just having this realization when she was younger about we are born to die, as in the title.
Do you want the quote?
Yes.
In an interview with the Telegraph, I've noticed a lot of the quotes available online are with English newspapers, which is strange, I thought. But
she's more popular in the UK than in the US.
Anyway, this is an interview with the Telegraph. When I was very young, I was sort of floored by the fact that my mother and my father and everyone I knew was going to die one day, and myself too. I had a sort of a philosophical crisis. I couldn't believe that we were mortal. For some reason, that knowledge sort of overshadowed my experience. I was unhappy for some time. I got into a lot of trouble. I used to drink a lot. That was a hard time in my life. So, nice to get your midlife crisis out of the way when you're 11 or whatever.
Yeah. Get it done. All right.
That's it. Those are the lyrics.
Is it?
Plenty of repetition, but I couldn't find any more lyrics.
Hold on a minute. Don't make me sad. Don't make me cry. Sometimes love is not enough and the road gets tough. I don't know why.
Did that bit.
We had that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, should we talk about the video?
Yes.
This. So, what's that there video about?
Well, here's another quote from MTV this time. For Born to Die, I wrote a treatment for it called The Lonely Queen, so that I'd be in a setting that represented heaven, sort of like in a remote castle in Romania, walking through the halls flanked by tigers, and then she'd be flashing back to happier times in the arms of her love. And then Johan Lemoyne adapted that treatment and made it more doable. But I love that video, I really do. I can't believe it turned out so beautifully. I spent a lot of time thinking about where I wanted it to go. So yeah, she's walking around a castle with some tigers, basically. Except she's not. She was never in.
Yeah, so
she was never actually
in
the same room as the tigers. There is a quote here which I'm trying to find. So I've got way too many notes for this song. Yeah, it's from the same MTV interview, I think. I always feel uncomfortable spending anyone's money, but I really did want the tigers, just because of what they symbolise to me, and just visually they're so striking. I always liked the vision of a girl in a white nightgown with two majestic tigers. In one scene, I was sitting on the throne first, and then I had to leave the room, and then the tiger was filmed right by the throne and then spliced in. Tigers and women can't be in the same room, even if the tiger is a female, because of the pheromones. So, not actually there.
There we go. So, anyway, the video, it's this thing about she's on a road trip with this guy that she's in a pretty crappy relationship with. And finally, there's a car crash at the end of the video and she dies.
Yeah. Cheerful stuff.
In a nutshell. Yeah.
Yeah. She told Q magazine that the song was about her boyfriend. She explained, "When I found someone that made me feel really happy, that was so different to the way I'd felt before in my life." So she died in a car crash. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I have difficulties with depression. And I can understand all that, but I just can't understand suggesting that something which is so obviously unhappy is a representation of your happiness. That's a bit strange to me.
Yeah, this is odd, isn't it?
There you go.
There again, I don't know about you, but I certainly find it difficult to write jolly songs. Yeah, so maybe that's it. That's just the way that her musical brain is hard coded. That when she tries to write something, everything's in a minor, rather than.
I don't think I've ever written a song which isn't in a minor chord. I know you went through a period of wanting to write major chord songs, didn't you?
Yes, you have.
Yes.
Isn't love what the flip is? That isn't that major?
Oh, is that major? I can't remember. Probably is, isn't it? Yeah, okay. But I probably got that wrong. I was probably trying to write in a minor chord and got it wrong. I'm not very good with music theories.
Well, of course, all minor has an associated major, a relative major.
Of course it does, yes.
Right. Okay.
Do we have anything else interesting here?
No.
We might have. Born to Die album was number one on the UK album chart. With sales of 117,000 its first week, more than the rest of the top five combined.
Wow.
I've got too many notes. This is a problem. The only thing I'd say, which is a personal observation, is this video with a tiger on each side, even though they weren't, but they appear to be on screen, is pretty much reimagined from the cover of her album before the current one, Blue Bannisters, where she's sitting with her German shepherds on each side. Who are called Tex and Mex, apparently.
And I imagine they're not spliced in.
No, I expect they're probably there, yes. Lovely big chaps, big doggos now, yes. Very nice.
Lovely dog. Okay, let's draw a line under that. And then you've made a big change here, Professor A. Rather than choosing a song, you've chosen a movie for our third track.
A short film, yes, a short music film.
Yes.
Well, basically, it's the song with a bit of poetry nailed on at the beginning and the end, and some pictures because it's a video.
Yeah.
Yes. Indeed. It's about 10 minutes long, just over 10 minutes long. And it features confessional monologues at beginning and end, officially.
Yes. What are we going to do about these confessional monologues? Are we going to tackle the confessional monologues? Or
I was going to. I'll just read them out, at least. Have you got them?
I've got them.
I've got them too. I've got them.
Okay. They're quite long.
They are quite long. That's how you make a 10-minute song, isn't it?
Yes, I guess so. That's what failed us. Okay. Here we go. I was in the winter of my life, and the men I met along the road were only my summer. At night, I fell asleep with visions of myself, dancing and laughing and crying with them. 3 years down the line of being on an endless world tour. And my memories of them were the only things that sustained me. And my only real happy times, I was a singer, not a very popular one. Shall I carry on, or should we pause there?
Yeah, pause there. That's fine. I mean, I think a lot of this is well, it's fictional, isn't it? Because she wasn't on a 3-year long world tour at that point. She'd had one. This was on the album Paradise, which was re-released as a combined album with the first album called Born to Die, the Paradise Edition.
So yeah, so this was released in 2012.
So she certainly hadn't been on the road for 3 years.
Because the previous songs were like 2011, right?
Yeah, Video Games was 2011. Yeah. And it's interesting because the character she plays in the video, the short film, do you know the name of that character?
Remind me.
Artist. The character is called Artist for some bizarre reason.
Yes.
Yes. And the character in the movie video is a prostitute.
It's a movie. It's a short movie.
Yes, she's a prostitute called Artist who has 3 distinct lovers from a biker gang. She calls them lovers. They're called Lover 1, 2, and 3 in the cast list, but obviously they're clients. And she eventually goes off and joins the bikers on the road. That's the plot to it. That doesn't really sort of fit with this bit about being on a singer, not a particularly popular one, who's on an endless world tour. And why would you be on a world tour if you're not a popular singer anyway? It's a bit strange, but it's a confessional monologue.
Be on a cruise ship?
Could be. Yes. Yeah, I mean, this is all. It's worth saying the intro and the outro are all over big string section, John Barry-esque, in fact. Again,
I mean, this is for me more of a classic Lana Del Rey thing. It's a song that's, normal song length, a good long song, 4 minutes and something, which she's stuck a load of video over the beginning and end and dragged it out to, in this case, it's like 10, 11 minutes or something, right? But she's got other ones, and I like this one. I think this is good.
This is certainly one of my favourite songs of hers.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and it's very classic Lana Del Rey. Again, it's not very jolly, but where did I get to? Okay. I once had dreams of becoming a beautiful poet, but upon an unfortunate series of events saw those dreams dashed and divided like a million stars in the night sky that I wished on over and over again, sparkling and broken. I didn't really mind because I knew that it takes getting everything you ever wanted and then losing it to know what true freedom is.
So she's basically saying that she was this singer who was on a 3-year-long world tour despite not being popular. So whatever. And then everything suddenly went wrong for an unspecified reason, and she became a prostitute to make ends meet.
Yeah. Then, when the people I used to know found out what I'd been doing, how I'd been living, they asked me why. But there's no use in talking to people who have home. They have no idea what it's like to seek safety in other people, for home to be wherever you lay your head. So, once you're in that world, can you ever go back? I guess is the question, right?
Indeed.
Okay. I was an unusual girl. My mother told me I had a chameleon soul, no moral compass pointing due north, no fixed personality, just an inner decisiveness that was as wide and as wavering as the ocean. And if I said I didn't plan for it to turn out this way, I'd be lying. Because I was born to be the other woman, who belonged to no one, who belonged to everyone, who had nothing, who wanted everything, with a fire for every experience and an obsession for freedom that terrified me to the point that I couldn't even talk about it, and pushed me to a nomadic point of madness that both dazzled and dizzied me.
And that's the intro.
End scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is. I mean, she probably wanted an excuse to show that she can write better things than she has done when not constrained by them being a song.
Yeah.
She has, in fact, got a book and album of poetry released these days. That was 2020, 2019, something like that, called Violet Bent Backwards Across the Grass or something. Which I've listened to a couple of the tracks from, and yeah, she can certainly write. She has a command of the English language, which I admire.
Yeah.
Because I used to have a command of the English language, and now I can barely speak a sentence properly, which is a bit worrying. I blame the heat again. So yeah, and I think she's a very creative person. She wanted to have an outlet for poetry and film production as well.
Okay, well, let's dive into some of the real lyrics.
Yes.
Now we've done the opening monologue.
Mm-hmm.
I've been out on that open road. You can be my full-time daddy, white and gold. Singing blues has been getting old. You can be my full-time baby, hot or cold. Don't break me down, don't break me down. I've been traveling too long. I've been trying too hard with one pretty song.
One pretty song. Yes. Open road again.
Yeah, she's driving. She's on the road.
This is the most open roady song of the open roady songs she's done, I think.
Yeah.
Full-time daddy. She often refers to her boyfriends or whatever in her songs as daddy.
White and gold.
Yes, white and gold.
Well, this is absolutely crystal clear. Up with the white and gold is the fight song of the Georgia Institute of Technology. It's generally played after a touchdown in a Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets football game. The song's title refers to Georgia Tech's school colors, and its lyrics contain the phrase "Down with the red and black," which is the colors of Georgia. So it's Georgia versus Georgia Tech. So it's good that she can encompass these references, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it might actually be sort of white for diamonds and gold for jewelry and stuff.
I don't think so.
I'm sure you're right. Yes.
No. I think there's other explanations. One is white gold could be referring to cocaine. And I just want to throw something else in there. Do you remember that whole meme about the dress that people couldn't discuss?
Blue and black or gold and white, wasn't it?
Yeah. So maybe she's referring to that, in which case she had even more powers than we thought, because that meme came out in 2015.
Yeah, it's very, very prescient there. Yes, good stuff.
Yes, so she's good. Yes. But actually, the phrase "white and gold" is a reference to white being goodness and divinity being gold.
Oh, okay.
So it's talk about being good and godliness.
Okay.
There we go. So she's talking about her singing past.
Yes.
Looking for a lover. Looking for a daddy.
Yes. Daddy, of course, can be used in a criminal sense to the daddy being the main hustler in a criminal group, apparently. Do you remember the film Scum? It's an 80s film, I think, starring a very young Ray Winston and Phil Daniels in prison.
Yes.
It's like, who's the daddy now?
Yeah. I tried to watch it recently. It was on YouTube. I didn't manage.
Where's your tool? What effing tool? Which effing tool? Yes. Good song. Good film. I liked it. Oh well. Yes.
Well, if this is a film, then Scum could be a song.
Oh, it could well be. Yes, it could. Yes. Do we have anything else to say about?
No.
This? No. I mean, yeah. Again, it comes back.
I hear the birds on the summer.
Cool.
I hear the birds on the summer breeze. I drive fast. I am alone at midnight. Been trying hard not to get into trouble, but I've got a war in my mind. So I just ride, ride. Dying young, playing hard.
Oh, hold on. Let's stop there. Stop at the end of the
Right.
chorus.
Yes. Okay.
Just going back to the previous paragraph before you rushed me off it. The "Don't break me down" line could be a double meaning, of course, with the car breaking down, which she's driving the open road in, I think. So, back to the one you've just done. I hear the birds on the summer breeze. I drive fast. I'm alone at midnight. So she's out there on the open road driving, as is her wont. And I think it's a contrast with the birds singing, but why the birds are singing at midnight, I'm not quite sure. Most birds don't.
Yeah, if it's the same phrase, maybe it's two separate phrases.
No, I think it's just meant to be that she can hear the birds on the. Perhaps she's just hearing their wings on the breeze or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Trying hard to not undergo, but she's got a war in her mind. So back to her sort of challenges.
Yeah, I think it's. I think a lot of this is about being alone. She's alone to try to cope with her problems, and that makes her more alone, which leads her to more problems.
Yeah.
Which is something I've experienced in my life. Now I have a Professor Dogger. So, yeah, and she referenced this song in another one of her songs called "Get Free" from 2017's "Lust for Life" album, where she sings about riding the ride despite having a war in her mind. So it's definitely an ongoing theme.
Yeah.
I think it's about being able to ride me out the road. Freedom. Freedom, but marginalising in some way. So you become your own world.
All right, Gribby. More words. Dying young and playing hard. That's the way my father made his life an art. Drink all day and we talk till dark. That's the way road dogs do it. Light till dark. Don't leave me now. Don't say goodbye. Don't turn around. Leave me high and dry.
Yeah, I mean, she references her father and talks about
Yeah.
his life and art. Other than his album from a week ago, as we mentioned, I believe he was a advertising copywriter. So that doesn't really suggest dying young and playing hard and making your life an art to me. But I don't know much about it.
I may be confusing him with somebody else, but I believe that he was a copywriter, but then made a fortune out of domain name.
Oh, right.
What's the word? Squatting. But I could be wrong. But I don't know anything about it. Very little. I know very little. Her sort of background is quite guarded.
Yes, well, I guess it would be if you've had those problems that early.
Yeah, but normally most people with this amount of fame, you can find stuff about their childhood and people and brothers and sisters and parents.
Well, you can find out her brothers and sisters. Her sisters are in several of her videos. She's a professional photographer called Chuck. I think she's actually Caroline or something, but she goes by Chuck Grant. And her brother's Charlie Grant, who's one of the bikers in this video, although not one of the ones being her clients, thankfully. So, yeah. I don't know anything about her mother at all, so who knows.
So what is the idea of her father being mentioned here?
Well, presumably, we say her father, but it's the narrator's father, isn't it? Artist's father. So it might not be about her own father at all.
That's true. That is true.
But it's this, live fast, die young, live a good-looking corpse thing, isn't it? Was that about James Dean, was it? I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think his corpse was particularly good-looking after his car crash.
Probably
Could
not.
be wrong. No. Drink all day and talk till dark. Again, alcohol use, which you may or may not still do. But again, it's the character, so it doesn't really matter. The road dogs. What do you know about road dogs?
Nothing.
If you look it up online now, everywhere, all the Urban Dictionary, all that kind of thing, say it's a good buddy that you do things with. But I think in this, it's obviously meant to mean a motorcycle club, bikers.
Yeah.
Road dogs.
Alrighty. I hear the birds on the summer breeze. I drive fast. I'm alone at midnight. And there's some repeat, right? I've been trying hard not to get in trouble. War on my mind. Then I'm going to edit this. I'm tired of feeling like I'm effing crazy. I'm tired of driving till I see stars in my eyes. All I've got to keep myself sane, baby. So I just ride. I ride. That's it, pretty much.
Yeah, it is, apart from the outro. But
yeah, which we'll come to.
Yeah, I think this is just more of the same with feeling that you're caught up too much, so you're trying to get away from everyone to get a little bit of sanity, and then that marginalises you more, and you're just stuck in this perpetual circle of trying to get away from everything.
Yeah.
So, riding at this point. By this point of the song, she's joined up with the bikers full time. It's part of the gang. And is when she sings the Tired of Feeling Like I'm line, she is wearing an American headdress, which was a big problem for a lot of people. The Native American headdress.
Yes,
And she was accused
understandably.
of cultural appropriation.
That's quite right.
And she's also pointing a gun at her head when she sings that line. So it's,
yeah. Yes.
It's a big suicide-y thing.
Yeah. I mean, I like the song. I don't like the implication, the prostitute life, finding her way, drinking. It's not an aspirational song, should we say?
It's not. God, you used to be such a different young man. You really did. Stop it. You've got old, my friend. Well, nearly.
All right, should we go for the closing monologue?
Confessional monologue, yes.
Every night I used to pray that I'd find my people, and finally I did on the open road. We had nothing to lose, nothing to gain, nothing we desired anymore, except to make our lives into a work of art. Live fast, die young, be wild, and have fun. I believe in the country America used to be. I believe in the person I want to become. I believe in the freedom of the open road. And my motto is the same as ever. I believe in the kindness of strangers. And when I'm at war with myself, I ride. I just ride. Who are you? Are you in touch with all of your darkest fantasies? Have you created a life for yourself where you can experience them? I have. I am effing crazy, but I'm free.
Indeed. And over those lines, she is swinging on a tyre swing.
Yes.
Which, again, calls back first... Will you shut up, dogger? Calls back the first line of video games. Swinging in the backyard, pull up in your first car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a pretty big budget video thing, and there's lots of fire effects at the end. I'm not entirely sure what happens at the end. I don't know if they shoot someone or what. I have no idea what's going on there. There's lots of fire and people waving guns and running. So.
Yeah.
Who knows? Do we have any interesting facts about this, I wonder?
Hit me.
Yeah. It was premiered at the Aero Theatre in Santa Monica, California on October the 10th, 2012, and 2 days later released onto Vivo. Film's reception was mixed to positive, with critics complimenting her acting but generating controversy due to the film's portrayal of prostitution, adultery, gun violence, and cultural appropriation. Don't wear a hat. No. Um, it's the first single from the Paradise edition of Born to Die, which, as I say, was albums 2 and 3 nailed together. I haven't worked that one out at all. It was produced by Rick Rubin. In this quote, it says that legendary knobmeister Rick Rubin, which is interesting. It was recorded at the Shangri-La Studios in Malibu, which has been home to the likes of Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, and the band. So it's a proper old school rock studio.
I like the piece from NME.
I haven't seen that one.
Lucy Jones compared Del Rey's role in Ride to Blanche Dubois' role in A Streetcar Named Desire, calling it a neurasthenic wreckage.
Well, there you go. I'm sure it is, not that I know what that means.
It's neurasthenic was a condition that was discovered in the late 1800s for people who were having problems wondering where reality is. So she says that Del Rey's character atrophies into prostitution, seeking safety in other people. It's disempowering for women. Anti-feminist again.
But do we think it's every famous woman's job to be feminist? Are they required to do it? I don't think they should be.
Oh no, I'm not saying they are.
I'm not saying you are. Are these critics saying that? I don't know.
Apparently so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I guess they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
It's a great song.
Okay.
It's got a lovely bass line. I like that. Dum, 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 dum. There's no guitars on it at all, but it still manages to sound like a rock ballad.
That's true.
Yeah. It's all strings and bass. Yeah.
Some other quotes about it, not from her. Pitchfork considered the metaphor festooned monologue moving. And Jones speculated the monologue was not autobiographical so much as a jab at her critics. The New York Observer commented, as a statement of purpose, talking about the monologues, it's absolutely refreshingly meaningless. Not purporting to make any statement beyond provocation as a creation myth for whoever Lana Del Rey is. It's tremendously watchable. She strives for little more than that.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say, I haven't noted down the exact quote. Please stop it, please. The same director made a very similarly formatted video with Taylor Swift with a confessional monologue at beginning and end. I can't remember which song it is. I didn't write it down. Yeah. And Taylor Swift and Lana Del Rey collaborated on a single last year. So,
oh wow!
So it's no big surprise. Also, apparently, she was a big influence on Billie Eilish, who had Lana Del Rey as the wallpaper on her first ever mobile phone.
So,
isn't that
cute? In a small world.
Yeah. Right, how long do you have? I can't remember when we said.
Well, let's wrap this episode up here.
Okay, can do. Right, well, we have another 7 tracks, I'm afraid, people, so you know what's going for the next couple of weeks. 3, maybe. Thank you for joining us, and please give us a like and subscribe. And we'll see you next week.
And everybody play a B7 suspended fourth.
Absolutely. I'll get right on that. Bye all.
Bye-bye.